And so the work that I've done in this city, the work that I've done in my advocacy, the work that I did as a college student has been work that ensures they are going to have good healthcare coverage. They are going to have safe working conditions and good paying jobs. And the policies that I support here ensure that our workers have a pathway to the middle class. Last week, and we are here today because last week I was served with a notice of intent to recall me. And taxpayers are going to have to pay up to $1 million to host a recall election and to host a special election to appoint somebody to Ward 1 and to Ward 3. That is $1 million that is not going to fix the snack bar at Riverview Park. That is $1 million that is not going to renovate the bathrooms at Portola Park. That is $1 million that is not going to go into fixing our sidewalks or the potholes in our street. That is $1 million that is not going to go into supporting our local artist community or our after-school programs. And so Councilmember and I face a $1 million recall effort because of one person, and that is Mr. Jerry Serrano, who refuses to understand that we cannot boost his pension pay and that a ruling was made not by this council, but by state pension officials from the CalPERS board. Mr. Serrano refuses to understand that I cannot hire him as a city personnel. Mr. Serrano refuses to understand that I will not be coerced into voting any way that he wants me to, that I work for Ward 3 residents, not him. And Mr. Serrano does not want to perform police duties for the Santa Ana Police Department. And lastly, you are all well aware of the number of lawsuits that our personnel has had to manage these couple of years, particularly this year, which have turned into attacks not just against members of this council, but our city administration. You know, personal lawsuits against our city manager, Christine Ridge, our city attorney, Sonia Cavajo, and our very own Chief of Police, David Valentine. And so I want to make it very clear that I support our administration, that I support our chief, and that I will not support any efforts to fire any of them. And that is why we are here today. In the course of analyzing information and doing what I was elected to do, Mr. Serrano refuses to be logical, and he has made it very clear that he is looking to have a council that will do whatever he wants at whatever cost he wants. And I am not being recalled for my work ethic. I am being recalled because I am doing the job that Ward 3 residents entrusted me to do, a job that requires that I also protect the public's purse with integrity and humility. And Councilmember and I faced a recall attempt by Mr. Serrano, and that is not the first time that he has come after women in the chamber. And we are two strong women that are supported by our community, that won an election fairly, and we ask that all measures, be taken so that we do not put Santa Ana residents through this costly, unnecessary process. This recall is political retribution targeting women of the council for voting in the best interest of the residents we swore to protect. And so I do want to ask residents to refrain from signing petitions based on lies. I want to thank our labor leaders for being here today. Briseño, I want to thank you, lead labor leader, for being here today. Derek, I want to thank Supervisor Sarmiento for being here, Councilmember Hernandez, Councilmember Vasquez, who has reached out and offered his support, and to all of the members of our community who have reached out and who have made generous contributions. And particularly, I want to express a gratitude for the members of the department who have also reached out, who have asked for anonymity, but who have said that they stand with us and will not support any efforts to recall us. Thank you so much.
We love you.
Hey, Matt.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tai Viet Phan. I'm the Santa Ana council member representing Ward 1. Some of you may know I am the first Asian woman ever elected to the city of Santa Ana, and the first Vietnamese American elected to the city. What a lot of you may not know is that when first Vietnamese refugees landed here in Southern California, we came to Santa Ana. Santa Ana is our home. It is where we chose for it to be our adopted homeland. And I'm so proud that the Vietnamese community had come together to fight, to sue the city so that we would have a voice here on this dais. And with that, I was lucky and honored enough to be elected to represent, to speak up, and to provide services. In fact, this last 2 weeks, I spent the time with my residents and with our community at Lunar New Year, at Tet Festival, really reaching out. And that's why I ran. I was born in a refugee camp when my parents fled Vietnam and came here to give me a new life. I grew up in Santa Ana. I went to schools in Garden Grove Unified School District, and now I still live in Santa Ana, 10 minutes away from where I grew up. And with my parents' sacrifice, I was able to become an attorney, and I looked at how we can do a better job here in Santa Ana for Asian American residents and for Ward 1 residents who've always been forgotten. So that's what I have been doing. I worked on hazard pay, championing and ensuring that our frontline workers, who are the ones facing COVID every day, were the ones who got hazard pay and hero pay. We championed rent control, not just for tenants, but we championed rent control for mobile home park residents, many of whom are seniors who are here today, who have been fighting, who've been missing meals, who have been missing medication so that they can pay their land lease. We've been fighting for workers, working class people, our brothers and sisters in labor, to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to do well and to thrive here in the city of Santa Ana. And because we stood up for our residents, because we represented our residents, Mr. Jerry Serrano is now trying to recall us. And so let me say that again. We made Santa Ana more affordable for Santa Ana residents, and now they're trying to recall us. It is nothing short of coercion and blackmail to ensure that he thinks he can have someone on that dais who will do what he wants. He believes this because he tried it in 2016 and removed city leadership. He tried it in 2020 and removed a council member. And now he's trying it again. And don't be fooled, because this is work with greedy corporate landlords who tried to overturn rent control with a referendum and failed, thanks to the volunteerism from our Santa Ana residents and those who believe in ensuring that our tenants can live here and thrive here in the city of Santa Ana. So when they failed, now they're coming after us. But they're not playing fair. They're lying to residents. They were telling residents, those who are already struggling in mobile home parks, that they will pass rent control, that it is us who are doing something wrong. But I will tell you this, my parents and our communities left our countries, often leaving everything behind. We know war, we know devastation, and we know struggle, and we will not let Jerry Serrano and greedy corporate landlords coerce us or blackmail us to doing what he thinks he can get. So I hope that all of you tell your neighbors, do not sign anything, do not talk to anyone who comes to your door, and do not believe their lies. Because I know we will beat this. I know we will win, and we will show them all that you cannot blackmail leaders of the Santa Ana City Council. You cannot force us to do something that is against our community's interests. We will win, and we will show them exactly what it means to be a leader of the Santa Ana City Council. Thank you. And with that, we just want to give a couple members of our leaders a couple minutes to speak, and then we will take questions. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Councilmember Jonathan Hernandez, and I represent Ward 5 in the city of Santa Ana. And I joined this council with my colleagues, Councilmember Fan and Councilmember Jesse Lopez. And we each ran during the 2020 year of the uprising. During the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, police violence was at its all-time high. These were the leaders that were willing to challenge police, and that we're willing to hold police accountable and run for office on the values of justice, peace, and equity. And these champions won. And over the last 2 years that I've served on this council with them, we have made drastic, life-improving changes to this city. We've introduced police oversight, and we've included community input. We've worked with the experts. We've worked with community groups. We've made sure that the community's voices were reflected through policy. When it came to police breaking the law and trying to infringe on First Amendment rights, the council publicly led a discussion on banning that practice and making sure that officers are not trying to skirt accountability and change the laws to protect themselves. But there is an issue that is happening across this country, and we are now seeing it in our own backyard. And if you didn't realize it in 2020, I hope you realize it now. But police are starting to infiltrate our city councils, and they're starting to infiltrate these leadership positions. As a matter of fact, they got 3 seats this year. And if any of my colleagues feel attacked for me stating the facts, I'm sorry, but those are the facts. The city council has 3 seats that were paid for by the police union. When the police union does not get their way, they retreat to violence. Now, violence isn't just black and white police violence, whether it's a knee in your neck or whether it's getting shot in front of your family on the block that you live in. Violence, when it comes to police, it doesn't recognize political boundaries. It doesn't matter. If you are going to hold them accountable, they are going to come for you. So what I want to do today is have a call to action. I want to stand in solidarity with my colleagues, but I also want to challenge our community as to what does violence look like? Well, violence isn't just police gunning us down in our backyards. It's targeting women. It's targeting vulnerable, minorities in these communities. It's no secret that our communities are being hyper-policed, and now they're targeting and recalling the 2 women leaders that have stood against them. But I'll tell you, I've proudly stood against them too. And I welcome whatever comes with that. So if that means you're going to recall me too, you know exactly where I'm at. So if this was truly about democracy and what they're saying, and if this was truly about labor, they would have came for all of us. So where are you at? So I want the public to understand, this isn't about these council members being anti-labor. This is about these council members recognizing that this union is starting to look like organized crime. This is not a union anymore. These members are not being represented. This union president is abusing those members, taking their vacation pay, and is using that to stay comfy so that he can sue the city, use his members' dollars. And we know the famous quotes: if I don't get what I want, I'll make sure the city goes down in flames. Well, our city's burning. And it shouldn't take 1,000 fires for us to recognize what is happening. But we all see it now. And the threat that is happening to council members Fan and Lopez is coercion. It is an attempt to bribe them. And it's not as black and white as we think, but this is what police violence looks like. If you don't give me what I want, I will take it from you. Now, they may not physically be taking anything from our colleagues, but what they're saying is they will take your voice. They will take the policies that are protecting children in this city. These council members fought for rent control. And in rent control, one of the most important ordinances that we have in the city of Santa Ana, children that are enrolled in school cannot be evicted from their homes. That is the values that these leaders are fighting for in this council. These are our protectors, and we need to stand in them. We need to stand with them. Solidarity is not going to be enough. We need to mobilize. We need to organize. When they attempt to start this recall process, we need to block it. We need to stand on the ground. We need to disrupt this. We also need to make sure that we're proactively introducing policy. We also need to make sure that if we need to take to the streets, we show them whose streets these are. Because these streets don't belong to the police. They don't belong to them. They belong to the people. And need we have to remind you time and time again, we will show up. This is just a small fraction of what's to come, but they can most certainly expect the people will be here, and they will be standing with Councilmember Fan and Councilmember Lopez to the end. So I thank everyone for being here today, and I look forward to standing in solidarity with each of you.
I was told just a minute, so I'm gonna go ahead and be brief. Look, there is nothing more to say except that I am so proud to stand with my former colleagues, Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, Councilmember Fan, and Councilmember Hernandez. This is what courage looks like. And, you know, during my time as mayor here, the four of us worked on some policies that they've already described. And for them to be standing here, especially Mayor Pro Tem Lopez and Councilmember Fan, who are being unfairly attacked. This process of recalling people is when people, elected officials, abuse their power. They misrepresent what they're doing. They're here telling you exactly what they've done. They've delivered. And the four of us, when we were on the council together, we brought change in a very short time. And don't be fooled, this isn't a labor issue. This isn't a union issue. In fact, what the police union president was doing was undermining what labor's been working for so long, is to make sure that there is an equal footing, that we can bargain collectively, and that, you know, we're not going to do anything wrong. What they are doing is a movie I've seen too many times. And I see my former council member out there, Roman Reina. We know what they do. We know what they've done. And so when they don't get their way, they handpick who they want to be on that council. So I just want you all to understand, I am witness, and I'm the one person, in addition to Councilmember Hernandez, to know how the integrity of these two council members are. They are fearless. They've worked harder than any other council members I've served with to make sure that the priorities and the values and the needs of this community have been met. And so it is really sad to be standing here, once again, defending hardworking council members who don't take special interest money, who are not easily bought off, who are not convinced or intimidated, and to have to stand here and protect those rights. This is undermining the will of the voters. They fairly, democratically, and duly were elected by people in Ward 1 and Ward 3. And I want to talk to those residents and tell you, these two people have worked harder than I've seen anybody else work on your behalf. So if you allow this to happen, your silence, your willingness to let this happen, this is undermining democracy. This is undermining the entire process that we're trying to protect, and the system that we're trying to protect, to make sure that we have people that reflect our community. So I simply want to tell you is that, you know, and to the rank and file of the officers that are represented by the leadership at the POA, look, you are not being led well. Understand that those that are there on your behalf are not speaking about the issues that you need. They're here simply because of a cause that benefits one person. And that's something that none of us should stand for. That undermines everything that we all have tried to protect, which is our democracy here in the city. So please, all of you, continue to stand with these two valiant, courageous, brave women representatives that represent you well, that will never, never undermine or make you ashamed of who they are. They will represent you well. So please stand with them. Don't sign any petitions. If you look at what they're saying, it is an advert lie and misrepresentation of what they're doing. It's exactly the opposite of what they stand for. They stood with working families. They stood with immigrants, both documented and undocumented. They stood with working families, tenants and renters, the people who we're supposed to represent. We were voted in to represent those people. So stand with them because they stood with you. They had your back, now have their back. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Derek Smith. I have the proud honor of representing UFCW Local 324 and its 22,000 members in LA and Orange County. I am here today for all the reasons that were well articulated with respect to these two women's voting records for working families, and in particular, in recognition of my members' contributions as essential workers in the hero pay. I am also here because it is my belief that these are two women of character and of integrity, and that when such leaders are under attack, it is incumbent upon all of us to defend them. And UFCW is prepared to do that with all that we can do, and I would encourage all of you who believe that Santa Ana should be free from bullies and should have leadership that actually represents the voters, that should also rise in defense of these two women. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Derek. So Councilmember Fan and I are going to take questions from the press at this time, if there are any questions. If not, that makes this a whole lot easier for us.
Okay, well, we will be back.
We'll be around here. Derek, oh, sorry.
Can I ask you a question? So you said you're the police, people in the police department reached out to you saying that they support you?
Yes, I received messages. I've received emails. And it is not the first time, that a lot of them have followed some of the decisions that have happened or some of the lawsuits, and they have reached out to all of us in some of those situations to say, I disagree with this. For example, there was one issue that they emailed us about, Mr. Serrano made a complaint about Chief Valentin allowing the membership to attend a funeral for one of the fallen officers, and he had an issue with that. And so he emailed the council. That is public information if you wish to have it. But that is just one example. And relating to the recall, I have received messages. I've shared them with Councilmember Fan. And I understand that there might be even family here from some of the folks at the POA because they also disagree with this tactic.
And just to clarify, this is about one man, Mr. Serrano, using the powers that he has to try to coerce us and to blackmail us into doing what he wants, what benefits him. We work diligently to talk to our members and to do what's right for Santa Ana residents, our employees, and the people who come to visit us. But again, Mr. Serrano doesn't care. He wants what's going to benefit him solely. And he's working with greedy corporate landlords who want to get rid of us because they can't stand the fact that we passed rent control, the first in Orange County, to support our tenants and our residents. That's what it's about.
And then what day did you receive the letter, notice of intent?
I received the notice of intent 2 days before the most important holiday, the Vietnamese New Year, which is Tết. I received it Friday night, about a week ago.
I also received the notice of intent Friday night.
Thank you.
Does that mean that they have 30 days from the notice of intent to collect signatures in support of the
Do they have 30 days?
What do you know the timeline of how long they'll be collecting signatures?
At this time, it is my understanding that the city clerk will have to accept the filing of the notice of intent, and from there, they will have 120 days to gather signatures. That is why we ask that our residents, our voters, do not sign anything, do not talk to people who come to your door, and do not believe the lies that they're spreading.
Can you elaborate a little bit when you talk about corporate greedy landlords? Are you referring to one organization in particular? What is their role in this? Can you elaborate on their role?
Well, I can tell you that since we considered passing rent control and just cause evictions, we have been told time and time again by people who are involved in politics in Orange County that they will be coming after you, that they're ready to come after you, that they have $500,000 or however much it is to get rid of you. They started with the referendum and they failed. and now they're trying to recall us. And that's, interest groups, independent expenditures, and as you know, under federal law, they can donate and receive money from anyone. But that is the same people that we believe who are the ones working with Jerry Serrano today are the same people who work to try to overturn rent control.
Is there anything the residents can do to have Mr. Serrano removed for the community? Like a vote or anything? No.
There's nothing you can do as a taxpayer, as a resident. He is. There is a process in place that they have internally, and that is the process that they follow to support him, so that he is in the position that he is. I want to add that Mr. Serrano's position with the association is the association's business. We've spoken time and again that we stand with organized labor, that we stand with our brothers and sisters in our unions who are fighting for a better life, for a living wage, and good working conditions. We've stated that time and again, and we voted as such. But the issue isn't that he is the president of any union or association. It's that he, as an individual, wields this power and will use it in any way that he can to come after people that he doesn't agree with or doesn't think will do what he wants.
So you're not saying that the police POA is filing the recall against you. You're saying this one man is filing the recall against you. How do you word that?
Does Mr. Serrano live in Santa Ana?
He is not, to my knowledge, a resident of the city of Santa Ana. I believe he lives in Garden Grove. I'm unsure, but I don't think he lives
He ran for
here.
Garden Grove
The
Council
person
not
that
long
signed
ago.
the documents to open up the committee also is not a Ward 3 resident.
Right. The people who opened the committee are not Ward 1 residents either. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming out here today, for standing in solidarity with us and supporting us.